hello, Otafest podcast listeners. This is Angelo, and with me tonight are Nancy and Jay.
Oh my gosh, it's us.
That's moi.
This is the 16th episode of the 10th season, and the last episode for 2024.
Gasp. And we're gonna end it off on a nice bang where we go back and we review the fall 2024 season.
Yeah. The fall 2024 season is finally ending, and we were talking about a few anime just a few months ago.
I contributed to choosing some of these, even though the trailers were questionably interesting.
Okay. Oh, these were a lot of hot garbage.
And I know we chose as well as we could.
Bangers every time.
We chose as well as we could. I feel like all the animation budget of this season went into sequels, and we don't cover sequels.
Don't know what they are.
No, that's one of the rules. We're not allowed to cover sequels.
We're not allowed to cover sequels. Sometimes I'll bend the rules just to be like, these are the animes I like in 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we're not doing that today.
No, we're not.
We're not doing that today.
We're not breaking them rules.
Today, we're talking about Mao 2099.
All right, so as a quick reminder, this was about a demon lord who gets shunted into 2099 in the future.
It's kind of like a reverse Samurai Jack.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's an isekai
Oh, it is 100% an isekai.
because he's part of he's part of like a magical fantasy realm, and it collides with the human technological realm. This was not paced very well.
Oh, man.
It was weird, and I don't know if you guys noticed it. The sound design in the opening scenes was really weird. Like, they had mages casting off spells, but it sounded like machine guns.
So there was other sound design issues I noticed too, and I don't. Maybe I shouldn't call it issues, but when we were watching it,
Choices.
I noticed. Yes, choices. Thank you. I noticed that sometimes the balance of things like just even footsteps on a hard concrete floor, that sounded really off balance compared to a bunch of other things that were also going on at the same time, and they just didn't seem like they were quite the right choice for Foley.
Yeah, the Foley artists on this were... I don't know if they were cooking, or I don't know if they were new.
They missed the mark.
The sound design for this was really... It was off-putting. The character design, on the other hand, I was kind of digging it. The character and the environment design.
The big bad. I can't even call him the big bad, but you know, the not the main character. He kind of reminded me of a dark version of Colonel Sanders, and I couldn't escape it the whole time.
Oh my god. Oh my, I'm just imagining the Colonel now sitting at the top of the Tokyo Metropolitan Building. Except that was beside his building, but that's not the point. But just sitting there, scheming,
Being capitalist.
deciding what herbs and spices.
The demon lord gets killed and he gets resurrected into the 2099 world, and he is not quite like good with what's up, and he expects to like take his place as the dark demon lord once again, only to find out that like one of his lackeys doesn't want to be his underling anymore, and his lackey is the sort of antagonist that we sort of met in that first episode. Except it was kind of weird because in the trailer we expected to see, and in the description we expected to see more of the capitalism.
I was expecting a little bit more comedy.
Yeah, more comedy. It was supposed to be like demon lord from the past doesn't know how to survive in everyday future Tokyo, you know?
Yeah.
I was expecting vibes a little bit similar to Kekai Sensen or Blood Blockade Battlefront.
Oh.
Where it's kind of goofy, kind of serious, kind of like supernatural powers and stuff like that. One thing that I do like about the world building in this is that the Demon Lord is powerless. not because he lost his powers. It's kind of implied that he's not as good at using them,
Yeah.
but rather because society just progressed to the point where the powers that he has are just old hat. They're just not interesting or useful anymore.
They're also outlawed. Like, I think the class of magic that he uses is illegal in
Yeah, not allowed
the
to use
city
weather
center.
magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I was waiting for a lot more of the slapsticky humor to start hitting. Like, oh, what are these? Who are these 3D avatars that are showing up on these
Yeah, they
billboards?
had VTubers.
Yeah, they got VTubers on billboards these days.
They
Like,
even had a PNG tuber.
no.
But I thought we were expecting some, like, the devil is a part-timer vibes.
Yeah, I was expecting Devil's Part-Timer.
That's what I was hoping for.
I'm sure it might still touch into that, but from first episode review, you know, when that kind of vibe is what comes off of your description and your trailer, but it doesn't come off in the first episode, it's a little weird.
It's a little bit
It is.
strange, yeah.
It's a little bit weird. And I have actually not watched any of the anime on this list this season other than Uzumaki. So I don't really know where Mao 2099 goes past this. I don't know if it actually does become more of a comedy or more silly or slapsticky at all, or if it just keeps playing itself.
It's commentary on end stage capitalism.
Late stage capitalism goes wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
What do you mean goes wrong?
Goes wrong, goes the way that we expect it to based off of reality.
My God. I don't know. Even when the demon lord generals who are immortal and have years and years to take advantage of compound interest, when even they are renting a tiny studio apartment, it really just shows how far capitalism has destroyed everything.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think based on like other factors, aside from story, like the art wasn't particularly captivating. I don't think it was bad. I think the character design was okay. I think the background design was okay.
It was,
but like it wasn't special.
Perfectly adequate.
Yeah. There was the music or sound design not special. I don't think I would watch more than 3 episodes, and even giving a second episode,
that is more generous than I.
Yeah, the second episode would probably be as generous as I'd really want to be.
Same.
I kind of want to give this the second episode try, just to see what changes, just to see if it gets a little bit better. But right now, I'm not that enthused about it. There is very little telling me to go back to it.
There's very little drawing me to be more curious.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this was near the top of my list for our review tonight, unfortunately.
I had higher hopes for it. I really did. I really did.
Yeah.
Did you have any higher hopes for our next show?
Kinoko Inu, Mushroom Pup. It hit me a little bit harder than I expected it to.
But not in the first 15 minutes.
The first episode was really depressing. But what's crazy is, the whole premise of this show, for people who may have forgotten, Kinoko Inu is about an author whose beloved dog has died. What happened while we were watching this, just as they were getting onto, like, yes, they were heavily hinting, they were basically doing everything. The instant they confirmed that his dog was dead, my own puppy Ilya came over and started, like, clawing at my legs and wanted uppies and wanted to just snuggle up. And so for this entire episode, where he was just depressed that his old dog, his 17-year-old dog, which is a ridiculously long life for a dog, finally died. And I'm just sitting there petting my dog, and I'm like, oh no, I am the target audience.
Yeah. Yeah,
This
you
is
are.
designed to make me sad.
Yeah. 100%. Ilya also has very good timing, very good sense of timing.
Ilya Smart.
Oh, yes,
has
she
always been
does.
smart.
She's smart. I hate to say this, but I fell asleep during most of the episode.
Oh, it was so boring.
It's very slow paced.
So sorry.
It's so slow paced.
Mao 2099 was poorly paced. Kinoko Inu is just slow paced. Look, this kind of genre, this kind of art style, which is this kind of cute, kind of plain and simple, it tends to lend itself to slower pacing, which is kind of okay. But I gotta say that the author character, not interesting. Kinoko Inu, not really interesting until about the last 5 minutes. Not much was happening.
For real. Kinoko Inu, the titular mushroom dog. We see the mushroom right away. And about 10 minutes, about halfway through the episode, the dog finally bursts through the ground. And it's just there. It's just there.
Mm-hmm.
It can't talk, and I'm really happy it can't talk
That'd be
because I'm sure its voice would have been horrible.
creepy.
Yeah.
But it can understand and it can use like sign language and do things.
And it understands human speech.
One weird thing's like it just released spores into the room.
Yep.
And author dude was just breathing in the spores. And he's like, "Yep, those are spores, all right." And his childhood friend, who is also a horrible person, a very rude editor, absolutely, I get rid of her. I hate her already. She's like, this mushroom dog is throwing spores everywhere, and you're just going to let it do this?
This is the cordyceps invasion.
Yeah, this is where the
This is how
cordyceps.
cordyceps
Yeah.
starts.
This is how The
Yeah.
Last of Us begins.
This is 100%.
You know, it's weird because
This joke had this.
I kind of wanted to give it some kind of credit to maybe what the actual author of the show is trying to go for, which is like a theme of probably like rebirth.
Probably.
Maybe we didn't explain it very well yet, but the author got really depressed after his dog died, had writer's block, basically, just kind of started quitting on life in a lot of ways, and was just going through the motions. And then Kinoko shows up and kind of frees him from his mental state.
Grief?
Yeah. Not in a way that I think I could appreciate.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, hell no. I hate this dog. I hate this mushroom dog. The author had been keeping the color of his dog, of his
Yeah.
beloved family dog.
17-year-old family
And
dog.
quite frankly, I think that keeping the collar of a beloved pet is absolutely fine.
Oh, absolutely.
A great memento.
Yeah.
And then this fucking mushroom dog to be like, "Hey, get over it, bitch. Shit happens. The dog is cremated. Let's torch the final memento." They go and light a bag of barbecue bricks, like charcoal briquettes, on fire in the garden, stand there menacingly until main character comes out, and then throws the collar in the fire.
While the character is watching.
Whoa.
Oh, you missed that?
Yes.
Yeah, I was
Did you sleep through that?
definitely eyes
so
closed,
funny.
not really paying attention.
That's hilarious.
I got like, okay, I made it through most of the first bit of
That's
it.
so
Like,
funny.
you get to see him like he's at an autograph signing and he's totally zoned out. He's got like a lineup of fans who are trying to get his autograph and sign the book, and this one fan at the front is like, "Can I have an autograph, please?" Like he's totally zoned out.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Oh, yeah, right, yeah, sure." And the fan asks, "What are you working on now?" And he's like, "Oh,
Fucking nothing.
nothing. I'm not working on anything. I can't write anymore." Like he's clearly depressed, and his editor friend, childhood friend person is being an absolute jerk about it. She's like, "Oh, you got to get over this, man. It's been like, a while." And he's like, "Today was the 49th day since my dog
No,
passed."
60. Was it 49th or 69th? Or 65th or
Something.
I
It was a
remember
long.
being
It's been a
over 2
while.
months.
It's been a while, and she's just being really insensitive about it.
Oh, she was super insensitive. He basically said, "Shut the fuck up," in nicer
And then I
terms.
just started eyes. Oh, my eyes are closed. How did that happen?
It's a masterclass on how not to handle someone with depression. and how not to
Yeah.
handle someone
Oh,
who is
100%.
grieving.
Yeah.
And also, having this anime basically put you to sleep explains why you're not upset about what the fucking mushroom dog did.
I mean, when Angelo explained it, I was like, "Oh, what a jerk!"
Yeah, because I thought I thought it was, like for sure you'd be like way more reactive to that, and now that explains a lot why, and that's totally fine. Because if it wasn't for the fact that I was actually eating dinner, so that I stayed awake for sure, I probably also would have just not paid attention. It's not a great show.
I just feel like this is a comedy anime.
This
And
is a
it had two
comedy.
jokes.
How is this a
It
comedy?
had two jokes. It was like, oh, mushroom dog makes spores.
Yeah.
You would laugh. Mushroom dog burns memento of beloved family pet. Ah ha ha. Mushroom dog, you have such a silly way of cheering me up.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
No.
kind of hate Mushroom Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm-
that's not setting the right tone.
I have no desire to watch a second episode.
Yeah, I'm good with never watching it ever again. And if anyone ever tells me about it, I'll just shut my brain off. I could do that.
Yeah, that's
Won't
easy to
I
do.
don't- I
It
feel like-
already did it to me once.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we have a really bad track record with dog-based anime.
I'm. Yeah.
Maybe.
But
Remember that dog training anime from 1 or 2 seasons back?
oh my
That was
gosh, yeah, that
really
got
bad.
that got weirdly sexual.
That one that it looked like a Korean manhwa
Mm.
style of art, and it was
Mhm.
It was like water painting.
yeah, I
Watercolors.
didn't like it. But anyways,
It was bad.
Anyway, okay, moving on. So that one I am absolutely perfectly happy not watching a second episode of. But you know what I also don't want to watch the second episode of, but for totally different reasons. Uzumaki the Spiral.
Oh.
So, as Angelo mentioned, he was really shocked this was the only show that he had watched this season. But to be fair, Angelo's been very busy this season. Totally fair.
mhm.
This episode was so singularly unsettling, disturbing. It was visual eye candy, but in the nightmare sense. I don't
It was
need more.
Perfect.
This was the perfect dose of, oh my god, that's so cursed. I don't need more though. This
it was
is
literally
this was a good level of
perfect.
that was really cursed, and I'm a little bit put off,
Mhm.
but not. I don't think I'm gonna have nightmares about it, but if
It's-
I do tonight, I'll let you both know.
I'll be honest, it's definitely not a show for everybody, and not even in the
Mm-mm.
regular horror kind of way. Like, because I will say there are things like bodily mutilations, and that's not
Mhm.
really the same as like, ooh, jump scare, or
You know, it's
a different level.
disturbing.
As
It's disturbing.
as people do know, I am a big fan of Junji Ito's works. I know the source material pretty well. I know what happens quality-wise to the rest of these episodes, so I have no desire to actually watch the rest of Uzumaki because they basically butchered it production-wise. But
Hmm.
this first episode, if everything remained the way that it did, it would absolutely be worth watching. The animation is just spot on, very faithful to the source material.
Now, one thing that I'd like to say is that I want to actually do one valid criticism of the first episode. Quite frankly, and this is something that progresses throughout the other 3 episodes as well, it is progressing at a breakneck speed.
Oh, it
yes.
paces so fast.
Hmm. The hits just keep on coming.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
They had 4 episodes to try to wrap up like 12 story arcs.
Mhm.
Wow.
So they do a lot with every episode.
Mhm.
Every single episode, they do like 3 or 4 different story arcs that they try to introduce. Some of them they'll wrap up, some of them they'll leave for the other episode.
Mhm.
So it is really fast, but the way that they're able to create atmosphere, this is one of the things that like Japanese horror, or at least anime horror specifically, consistently lacks. With Uzumaki, you have the visuals, you have the characterization, you have the music and the audio. Like, if you ask me, Uzumaki is not going to be winning any awards for its OST. It is not like a pleasant OST to listen to,
No,
but it
it's
is the
very
OST that it
disconcerting.
needs.
Yeah, it's everything's
It is
harmonic.
the OST that it needs. It
Yes.
sets the mood.
And it bothers you.
I also think that it's probably pretty safe to say that it's not worth maybe watching the second episode or a third episode, but it is really worth it if you watch the first episode and really liked the premise to actually go and read the manga. Like, it's what
100%.
I am not much of a manga reader, but like, holy cow, it is night and day difference in terms of pacing and how much it gives you in that characterization. Like, the storyline, the initial storyline with the dad is like a really good intro into essentially
Oh,
that
it's
world.
so strong.
Yeah, it's very good.
His storyline specifically is so strong.
It's not just, hi, I'm this guy's dad and I'm going crazy. I don't go to work anymore and I like spirals and spirals and spirals and Fibonacci's.
Azami as well. This the first episode follows along the dad and a fellow school student called Azami, and they are both the centerpieces of some of Junji Ito's most iconic manga panels.
Oh yeah.
In general.
Oh,
And they just do it so good. The scene where Azami's face is spiraling in, and the eyeball just detaches.
Yes,
and you hear,
that first
squishing
eyeball.
around. Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
that first eyeball that she lost. And you know what? It would have been better if the trailer hadn't given away almost all of the entire first episode to me. Because it did. I knew
did.
that was coming because I saw it in the trailer. And like,
oh yes.
it's a double-edged sword because the shock value of that very iconic reveal would have been so much more disturbing if I wasn't prepared for it. But I feel like the trailer did a really good job at illustrating just how weird shit was gonna get.
that is true too.
And like it acted almost like a trigger warning list for me. So like on the one hand, I'm really glad I was prepared for it, but on the other hand, I would have been so much more shocked, like jaw-dropping shocked if I
Horrified.
hadn't known that was gonna come.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Just talking about the art, I just remember early on, somewhere in like the first quarter of the episode, like I can't remember her name right now, but the light-haired girl with the long hair.
The main girl.
Yeah, main girl.
Yeah, the main girl, when she turns her head, her hair follows, which as it should, but like her hair, because it's, it's not just like black, you see strands of it.
The texturing of it.
Yeah, and I just really
Yeah.
liked it. Like, I will not say it's the most beautiful like anime ever. That's not even close to that. But it really just hits so many good visual notes. The geometry of the scenes, the background, and it's just the style of it is just right.
I
Very
agree.
faithful.
The general smoothness,
Yeah.
the general smoothness of the animation was really well done. And that's sort of a big problem when you try to animate something that is styled so heavily by like line work. Line work and specifically, just manga styling generally, but anything that looks like it should be a singularly drawn panel, but now you're giving it motion. That's always challenging to do. But they did it really, really well.
Oh, they did it so well. And just to break your heart and just to scare you off from ever proceeding past it, in episode 2, they get backgrounds wrong. They miss texture backgrounds. They miss perception. They get the perception of backgrounds wrong. They have the characters at a different perspective than the background sometimes. They have the frame rate that the characters move at too fast sometimes. They mess with the pacing much, much worse. Like, if the first episode has any flaw at all, it is the pacing. In the second episode, they crank that pacing issue up to 11. Like it just
Too much.
It goes too fast.
I see. That sucks.
Too fast.
So truly, the first episode is all you really need to watch, and you don't need to watch more. Go read the
Yes.
manga.
We spoke about it in an
Yeah,
earlier
go read the
podcast.
manga, maybe find the anime OST, listen to the OST while you're reading the
The
manga.
production committee got screwed on the anime. Listen to the OST while, like, I know I said that the OST isn't pleasing to listen to,
But that's
it
the
is
point.
very unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
very
that
disturbing.
sets the mood.
Yeah.
I feel like sitting down and reading the Uzumaki manga along with that OST, ooh, it would send chills up my spine.
And it does.
Oh, it would be so good. Oh my god.
So,
What
interesting.
Was there a particular scene that hit you the hardest throughout the entire episode?
I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but when they find the body and what that does to his mom.
That whole sequence is pretty good.
The way that his mom reacts, the sequence with her fingers specifically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was I got the GBs from that one.
Because
The
I
way
already
that they like started showing it and then did the blood splash to imply. And I was like, oh no, that was. But then you think, okay, they cheaped out though. They didn't want to actually show. And then the exact next scene, they're like, yeah, we're showing it.
Yep.
We're showing the action. We are like, we had implied the first time. We were building the atmosphere. We're showing it now.
It was something. It was an experience I was not wishing for,
is
but it was
Masterfully
definitely quality nightmare fuel. If that's what you
done.
want,
Yeah.
this is a good episode for you, but don't bother with the rest of the show.
I'm so sad. Quite frankly, if you do watch the rest of the show, just go in understanding that the animation will not be what episode 1 promises. I still think you can have an enjoyable time watching the rest of the show, but it is not going to live up to it. It cannot live up to itself.
That's unfortunate.
Oh.
it happens. Adaptations are rarely perfect.
They're tricky.
Fishing, though.
Fishing though.
One of my favorite activities that I love doing.
For compliments?
Fishing.
Fishing for compliments.
Fishing.
For fish, it's called
Fishing.
fishing, not catching. But in this case, it's called Negapazi Angler.
Yeah. This one was absolutely the best thing we watched tonight, I think.
I would say so. It was well paced. It did not feel like it was cramming anything. The animation was good. The character designs are fun. The characters are fun.
Oh, the characters are so fun.
Actually, I would say, and this is by design, I don't really know how I feel about the main character.
Yeah,
Oh, he's a piece of shit, kind of.
kind of.
But that's something that's happening more and more often in anime, and I'm kind of here for it. Where the main character is a very obviously flawed character. Sometimes to the extreme. So in the case of Negapazi the Angler, our main character is a dude who is deep in depression. To put it in perspective, the first moment we see him, I think he is trying to get taller in the Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei sense.
Yeah.
If you understand that reference, then you probably understood 0% of the references in Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, but the GG subs did help you.
Let's just say gravity assisted growth.
Exactly. But
But anyways, aside from that, it's because he has a terminal brain tumor and he kind of just accepts that, nothing's ever going to get better for him.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah,
is kind of sad, but like he's not exactly
Going out and living life.
he's like from a medical perspective, it's not good.
he's basically given up.
Yeah, but he's also not like wandering around in shambles in a physical sense. Like he's very capable still.
He is engaging in self-destructive behaviors, just not that kind of self-destructive behavior.
Yeah. He
His
gambles.
self-destructive behaviors is gambling and not paying off his loans or bills
Is
or anything of that nature.
spending his whole day at pachinko.
Yeah, because he's like,
Oh
my
my
life has no
God.
more consequence.
Having that said, I love the loan sharks. They were so funny.
They have a certain level of incompetence that reminds me of like Team Rocket.
Yeah, they
They
do.
do. They're so just reminiscent of Team Rocket, and I just love that dynamic.
Yeah.
I love that character dynamic.
The show's not that cartoonish, but it is really fun. So like we obviously kind of started off with this guy is depressed, and he has some very real concerns in his life, but he finds some camaraderie through inadvertent fishing group session because he's trying to escape said loan sharks.
Loan sharks.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then he just. Oh, go ahead.
I think it was a really good scene, actually, when he accidentally falls into the water, and this is how, like, the fishing friends find him. Like, the actual animation of him, like, being underwater, and the currents are too strong, and
was
this is
gorgeous.
it was wonderful, and it was just this really nice low point for him. The way that he reacts to the low point is extremely telling of his character and where he's at in life.
Hmm.
And then after that, these people who find him manage to successfully get him hooked on a new life hobby.
Don't no pun, no punning.
I didn't do it on purpose. I'm
but
sorry.
you did.
But like they effectively introduce him to this thing, and he doesn't want to, but they kind of like goad him into it. And
They lured him towards the hobby.
God.
see, look, it's not just look. My favorite thing about that whole exchange in the first episode is it's extremely illustrative of what it's like to find a new hobby.
Mm.
Because you think to yourself, this can't be that fun. And then the curiosity eats away at you. And then when you finally try it and you start feeling that joy and you start finding that curiosity, and then people start describing to you all the ways in which they prepare for a night out fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you know this is going to go deep.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to watch this.
The thing I liked the most about this is it's exactly the antithesis of how things were handled in Kanoko Inu.
Right?
Just like the support, like the supportiveness of this group, the kind of like fun but not too crazy mentality that they have.
They're so wholesome.
They all clearly have, I really like the characterizations. They have different motivations for fishing, but they're not like, none of them are jerks about it. Like one of them is clearly into it because they like cooking, I think, as a side.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the old man dude who's just hanging around, and he doesn't have an actual line to say in that whole first episode, but he's just there because he just wants to hang around.
Background vibing.
Yeah, he's background vibing,
He's wonderful.
not catching fish, but still.
Yeah, he gave a
doing
thumbs up
this.
at one point.
Yeah, good dude, good dude.
Yeah.
Good dude.
I love him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's great.
There isn't a single character that I didn't really fall in love with them or some aspect of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like even our main boy, he is a little bit endearing in a way.
I mean, it's good to see him
Just a little
find that growth, right? And
Yeah,
find
because
it-
you don't
and-
want a
want
character
things-
who never grows.
Yeah.
You want things to turn out well for him.
Mm-hmm.
And everything just seems like shit his life is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And like they even double down on it at the end of the episode. They punch him hard, really bad. Oh my god.
You know, as someone who likes fishing, I really do like the attention to detail on it's like watching you remember Haruhi when there was like the band episode and they kind of did that like awesome animation on the guitars and everything like that. That's what
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, but for a fishing rod this episode.
Nice.
And the casting
Nice.
and the real cam, shall we say, it was
Oh yeah.
I liked it. I liked it a lot, and it just makes me want to go fishing again.
Oh my
And
god,
I'm
yeah.
always ready to go fishing.
Like
I
they
love
were just stringing my attention along scene by scene.
I love a show that makes you want to go out and do something. Like Jay's just like, it makes me want to go out fishing again. And
Yeah.
like little 7-year-old Nancy is coming up, swimming up out of the depths and being like, "Man, I used to really like casting a line. Just the casting motion. That was fun. Didn't even matter if I was actually doing it into water. Like I could just like on the street that I lived on, it was really quiet. So I'd just like do it across the street all the time.
Oh.
Nice. I really loved how they were like, yeah, when you're about to cast, look behind you first.
Yeah! Look behind you and make sure no one's there.
Yes.
I wonder if one of our hosts has ever been to the victim of someone not looking behind them when they cast.
Yeah, gee, I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
I
still have a scar on my eyebrow from when I was 3 years old.
Oh man. I once saw someone get angled in the cheek because their friend didn't look to see if they weren't there. And so they
Dang.
went to go wind up to go do the cast and like the hook just went right into his buddy's cheek.
Oh no.
Dang.
And if you remember what hooks are like, you kind of can't pull it out.
No, they're barbed.
Yeah, you got to like,
Well, they're
find
not-
someone who's
They're
got
not all
clippers.
barbed, but
Well,
still.
the ones that he had were, and
Yeah.
a lot of the classic ones are.
Oh yeah, 100%
But yeah,
for me.
That was something
it was
I
my
witnessed
sister.
once.
She got me through the eyebrow.
Oh.
So it is my first and last piercing so far. It happened when I was 3 years old.
Yikes.
And because of the nature of where and when it happened, we were on the boat. We didn't have the tools to
Oh no!
otherwise
So it just
get
sat there.
No.
We had to rip it out.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So there is an entry wound right here, about halfway through, and then the tail end of my eyebrow. You can also see where the hair thins out where the exit hole was.
No.
just picturing
that's
little Angelo.
awful.
I'm just
little
picturing little
Angelo
Angelo
was
just-
having the most miserable time.
Oh, I don't even remember what happened that day.
Probably because you deleted it out of your mind.
I just remember it happening, and I have
Yeah.
I have the receipts
Yeah.
on
You
my
have the
face.
receipts.
Trauma override. But yeah,
Oh.
show very, very good. If you're into fishing, definitely a good watch. If you like fun anime that is probably very uplifting, worth a watch.
Or if you've ever been curious about fishing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good time.
Yeah. Or if you just need the lesson. Sorry. I just want to have one lesson. If you need the lesson that the best way to make friends is to pick up a new hobby and meet people doing that hobby, it is legitimately the best way to make friends.
Agree.
That is literally the lesson of the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
Get hobby, make friends.
Yeah, it's not just about fishing, but if you have ever had even a passing interest in something that you've never taken a part in, try it. There's good people there.
Oh yeah, totally. Every environment generally has like a good circle of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's
Get Gunpla
Otafest.
and go to the Gunpla hangar.
Yeah, and then there's us.
Oh, literally almost every single friend that I have in Calgary is because of Otafest.
Aw.
Aw.
That's
Oh,
good.
100%. Oh, 100%. It is the best way to make friends.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how you don't make friends? You don't show
waiting
up to
for a
some
maid assassin
rando's
to show
house
up.
as a maid.
Oh my fucking god, this fucking anime.
What if I do? What if I do end up at some random's house as a maid?
I mean, if it's you, Jay, you have experience with the maid cafe,
Ah.
which is a little bit more than the maid in Kimi wa Medu-sama.
True.
This show is incredibly frustrating. Oh my god, I think I hate it.
This
Okay,
is-
wait,
show.
hold on. Before I want us to say, what did you like about the show?
Oh,
It's gorgeous.
it was gorgeous. It had
Yeah.
great animation. Everything is very pretty. You
The
can tell they
opening
didn't stinge
was
on
a
it.
visual treat. I even liked the opening song. That was really cool.
Even the ending credits were really nice.
Mm-hmm.
The character design for the maid, like, quite frankly, maid character designs, they can run the gamut of boring basic garbage to overdone stupid fetishy bullshit. And I feel like this maid design was very solidly in the this is a unique, aesthetically pleasing design that is not explicitly for the Gooner gaze.
Yes.
I agree.
Like, I like I like her character design.
And I also want to say that I really appreciate the little bit of food porn that shows up. Because
Yes, just a
food
little
shows
bit.
up twice in the episode, and it's almost, it sets the tone that it's almost always going to be like affordable food. Affordable, simple food that you picked up. It was like takeout.
Supermarket
You
food,
got it
yep.
from, yeah, or you got it from Kombini. And it was, I appreciate that because I've already watched a lot of anime shows where they show off a lot of really fancy, super like Michelin star level food. Cool, great. It's kind of nice to see the everyday person's food, but like very nicely presented in animation form.
And they even did a little bit of subversion of expectations where, like, when they put down the food on the table and when the maid lady was going to eat the food, I was 100% being like, oh, okay, here's where she's going to eat the basic convenience store tonkatsu and be like, wow, my clothes are exploding off. This is the best thing I've ever tasted. It's the first time I've tasted flavor in my life. And so she was like, oh, yeah, this is just food. I mean, there's the rice, there's the cabbage, there's the tonkatsu. All taste the same. But then a funny thing happens. Not only do they subvert expectations once, they then loop it around. They loop it around. They're like, hey, you're not supposed to just have the tonkatsu. You got to put tonkatsu sauce on it. What are you, stupid? And it's like, you use the fucking sauce, you goddamn maid. Goddamn. And then our girl,
Unlocks.
our Medo-sama, the third eye opens. She becomes hopelessly addicted to tonkatsu sauce to the point where in the middle of the night, at 3 a.m., she is rummaging around the kitchen being like, where's the sauce? Where's the sauce? I need my sauce.
She has like Gollum.
She got it bad.
Gollum, my precious vibes, but it's tonkatsu sauce.
Yeah.
And it's actually really cute.
That was really nice.
Fuck.
Like it wasn't all like flaming garbage. There were some
No.
nice things about it.
But the thing is, the main thing that really stands out about this show is that this storyline was invented in 1995 and should have died out by 2005. It's a genre that should
is
not.
such...
It doesn't need to be repeated anymore.
This plot doesn't deserve the quality that this anime has. And that's frustrating.
Yes.
You know the thing that really bothered me? He was like, "Oh, hey." At some point in the middle of the episode, he goes, "Oh, hey, I don't like know your name. What's your name?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, how horrible. You've been interacting with this person this whole time, just calling her
This
Ms.
human.
Servant."
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Oh, I don't have a name." I'm like, "Of course she doesn't have a name. That's the trope. She's nameless."
Yep.
And then he goes, well, I guess I'll name you some other time. But for now, I'm just going to keep calling you Ms. Servant."
Yeah, in some ways, I think that's worse. But that's not
That
even
was
the cringiest.
worse.
That's not even the cringiest scene.
Ugh.
The lap
The
scene.
cringiest was the last one.
The
Yeah.
lap scene is absolutely
Oh, 100%.
Self-fulfillment.
romance bullshit.
Kind of.
Like, seriously, that needs to stay in 1998. This anime would have been insane in 1998. People would have loved the shit out of it.
I don't think they would have been able to make this anime in 1998.
No.
Like, I want to be very fair. They put work into the animation quality of this anime.
Yeah.
Like, it
She
is
was-
visually very good.
But yeah.
She was just so sad that she didn't know how to mop a floor.
Mhm.
And,
But,
and
yeah.
absolutely unbothered by the fact that she didn't even have a name.
The trope that we are referring to is just, she is like this really beautiful girl who just happens to be a maid, and she happened to work for a family relative and happened to show up at this high schooler's house while his parents aren't home.
Yeah, asking to be hired.
Yeah, asking to be hired. His parents are away for the summer. He, quote unquote, doesn't really know how to take care of himself. So he needs a maid. But she, ha ha ha, is clumsy and kind of sucks at being a maid.
Doesn't actually understand what the job of being a maid is.
Yeah, and she has this whole
Yes.
problem with being a real human being because of her life experiences as an assassin and all this stuff. So she's discovering her humanity through him. Great.
It's kind of like if someone took Maharomatic and Violet Evergarden
And whooshed
mashed
them together.
It's not a mashup I needed.
No,
it
it
is not
really
a mashup
isn't.
I needed.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's really,
Ugh.
The worst part
it
is
really isn't.
I would probably say it's maybe the third best thing that we've watched tonight.
Yeah, but we had a small sample size. There was one show we couldn't even watch tonight.
That's true. I couldn't find a fearful lord and a cheerful dog live together as masters and servants. That's the one where a corgi lives with a, I believe, samurai in feudal Japan.
Yeah, a samurai lord.
Yeah, and I just could not find a source for that episode or that anime. So we are not reviewing it, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I would not watch another episode of Kimi wa Maid-sama.
Maid-sama? The only thing on this list that deserves a second episode to watch is Mao 2099 and Negapose the Angler. And Negapose the Angler was 100 times more interesting. 100 times better looking too.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
Agree.
Yeah.
It was a really strange smattering of choices this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I wish we talked about Dan to Dan.
Daniel the Daniel.
but we can talk about that next time.
Yeah. We are taking our holiday hiatus. We will be back January 8th, I believe. That's the Wednesday. And I think we'll be either doing the anime winter 2025, either that episode or the next. So that's what you can expect.
It is very possible that we'll be too busy talking about Duck.
True.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Possibly.
Lots of duck. But have a wonderful holiday and
Stay safe
we'll
and
see
warm.
you in a
Merry
couple of
Christmas.
weeks.
Be good.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
See you next time.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Bye.